All right, welcome back, artists. We are going to do the last part of our unit on self-portraits, and that is the hair. So we're going to try to make my person not bald today. All right, so I've gone ahead and thrown down a couple of simple shapes that look like the head and the neck. So now we're going to go ahead and go through different types of hair. What I first need to talk to you about is the ears. Now, the ears are going to be right next to the eyes. And for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to draw little C's and come back to it later. Because you do need to know where your ears are, especially if you don't have long hair. If you have long hair, you can always cover up your ears. So that's especially good if you don't like drawing ears, you can just cover them up with your long hair. Now for this tutorial, I'm just going to pretend like my ears are right here. Now something to keep in mind is that everybody has a hairline. If you think about it and you pull your hair up, even if you have bangs, pull your hair in a ponytail or whatever, everybody's hair does the same thing. It goes across their forehead, down, and up behind their ear. So across, down, up behind the ear. Now, if you have a buzzed haircut, this is basically it. But if you have, let's say you have like a flat top of type of hair, you can look at the shape and kind of think about how it goes. So it might go up a little bit. Maybe come down like that. And then you would erase your skull because you wouldn't see it if you have something on your head. Now, if you want to do kind of like a fade on the sides, you can think about it the same way we've been shading and just add, you're going to want the closest to your ear is going to be the lightest, and then as it goes up, it's going to be a little bit darker, so you're going to want to add a little bit of pressure to your pencil. Okay, so then you can go back and blend this out. And that's kind of how that works. Now, let's say your hair is a little bit textured on the top. If you have this type of hairstyle, the way that I do more textured hair is with smaller, it's circular, but I'm not picking up my pencil. I'm not doing it in circles, perfect circles. I'm just kind of going around and creating these really quick squiggly circles, I guess you could say. And they can be smaller or bigger, it's up to you. You can go back over them. So that's how I would do that. And I'm gonna come back and show you how it looks when it's finished. All right, so that's how it looks when it's done. Now, a couple things, remember to go into the fade, because even though you probably don't have as much hair there, you wanna make sure it's blended. And then I always go ahead and erase sort of that line that I used, because it'll make it look even more natural. Let's say your hair was rounded and it's not really a flat top. You don't have to do this shape. You just go ahead. And remember, I drew dark, so it's going to be a little bit darker. But you go ahead and make it into a circle or whatever shape that you want it to be. Now, when you're done with that, you can go ahead and take this really straight line and sort of erase it so it looks a little bit more natural. If you have hair longer than this, you're going to have a part in your hair. So it might be a middle part, it might be a side part. I'm just going to show you a side part really quickly. So I'm going to take and do, let's say my part's right here. I'm gonna go ahead and curve. And there's the start of my bangs. So I'm gonna go ahead and just layer it. Layer curved lines on top of each other. And then sort of put it behind. And then I'm gonna come up and do the same thing. And then I'm going to do that again to the other side. I'm gonna go ahead and erase the skull because you can't see it anymore. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Just little curved lines that go kind of very quick and similar to how I did the eyelashes, but it's just downwards. Now I'm gonna go ahead and erase a little bit of this because this is an implied line, and we talked about implied line in the last demo with the nose, because our eyes are going to automatically connect certain lines, and so you don't have to draw the whole thing. Now, if I wanted to go ahead and just color this one color, that would be fine. But you can also just do lines that are going in the direction of your hair, and your hair is going to go ahead and meet at the top and go down. And so the hairs that are down here probably gonna be a little bit darker. And your hair might cover your ear, so you could do that too. What you're gonna wanna look out for is the direction that your hair goes in, and the length, and the type of lines that are used in your hair. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you longer hair, and I'm gonna do it with the middle part. So I'm going to go ahead, again, do the down and over. Now my part's right in the middle, so I'm gonna go like that. And then it's the same thing, it's just in the middle. And your hair might go, we're gonna erase this line right here. Your hair might go out and be a little bit wavy, so you could also do that as well. So if you're thinking about the lines of your hair, again, not everything is just like this. You could have waves in your hair. So it could be shorter like that. Or you could drop it down, make it a little bit longer. In this case, you probably really don't have to draw your ears. You can see I'm just adding lines inside of it. You could just add lines and then color it all one color. You could do the whole entire thing where the lines start at the top of the head from the root and they go all the way down. It's entirely up to you. Go ahead and do that. It's the same way this way. But you can see these lines are a lot quicker, a lot shorter, less really... These are intentional. What I mean by that is I'm going through and I'm making sure that it's all smooth and really clean. With this type of hairstyle, if you have thinner hair, you could do more quicker strokes. Okay, so that's kind of how you draw longer hair. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do a ponytail. So if you are a girl and you have a ponytail, or you're anybody and you have a ponytail, you can go ahead and do the down and behind. This is going to be cleaned up, but you're basically going to have just your skull and your hairline, and then you're going to add a little ponytail or whatever. So you could do a ponytail, or you could do a nice little bow like that. And then I will just go ahead and take, let's say I'm doing like a really high up ponytail. You could do it like that. And again, the lines can be sort of quick or they can be wavy. So you could do quick or you could do wavy. Like that. Or if you wanted to do like a side ponytail, you could do a little square right here. Bring it down. Something like that. So those are more ponytails. Now, when you finish, you're gonna wanna kind of round out your hairline. And then you can also do little marks that go up. Like that. And so that's how you do a ponytail. Now I'm going to show you how to do textured like puff balls or bigger hair, but I'm going to use the texture that we use similar to the fade that we did earlier, and then I'm going to try to show you how to do braids as well. So let's say you have, I'm going to split this down the middle. Let's say you have like puff balls with texture. You can do it really similar to how you did the ponytail. And you can add your puff or your bow or nothing. If you don't have anything, that's fine too. And then I'm just gonna do the shape of what my hair might look like. So that might be my hair, like my hair puff. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do those circular textures. Okay, so that is how that would look. And then you can round out your hairline. You could even give yourself some baby hairs if you wanted to. Yeah. So if you were doing a full, like afro, for example, you would just do the whole entire thing as your circle, and then you can go ahead and add that texture again. Okay, so that's kind of how I would do a afro. Okay, so now the last thing I'm gonna do is show you how to do braids. So I'm gonna show you how to do several like box braids, and then I'm going to show you how to do one longer braid. So first I kind of want to show you how the box braids are gonna look. So, or the technique you're gonna use. So let's say this is my braid. You're going to want to start by doing a diagonal line and then another one that hits in the middle of the one you just made. And then you're gonna repeat that. So across and then another one that goes right in the middle. So it kind of looks like that. And then you can go ahead and make round lines that connect and go around like that. And so I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then I'm gonna erase my lines here. So it's gonna look something like that. Now, I would do that for like longer multiple braids and probably for like a whole braid. So I'm gonna show you how those two things are going to look. So I'm gonna split this in half again. So let's say I'm doing a set of braids, so like multiple braids. I'm gonna first start by mapping out how my hair is gonna, the whole thing is gonna be. So let's say I want the shape to be like this. And then again, you're gonna want that hairline just to make sure you have something. And then you're gonna wanna think about where your braids are. So if there's some that lay on the top here and go to the back, you might want to add those. There might be longer ones. And so basically you're just making these rectangles. So I'm gonna go ahead and start adding the pattern that we did. So again, it's down. I'm gonna zoom in here for you. It's a diagonal line, and then one that meets in the middle, and then you repeat that pattern. And then you probably want to do this before you do the ends of your braids, but you want to go through and erase that rectangle line that you started with. And you can go back and make this a little bit darker. And so I'm going to go ahead and do this whole side. Okay, so this is kind of how I would do it. Again, I'm gonna say it's not, my way is not the only way. So you can go ahead and look at other tutorials if you'd like to try to get a different perspective of what it might look like. Now you can go ahead and go even further and add texture to each section if you wanted to do that. Or you could just go ahead and color these in. So another thing you might want to do is give yourself like little charms or something in the hair. So just little curves like that. So again, these, I made these a little bit bigger so you could see it, but yours might be a little bit smaller. And so think about the width of your lines. So those rectangle shapes that you're making, think about how thin they might be. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a simpler braid, just like a one braid. So I'm gonna go ahead and just round out the skull and then round out hairline. And then typically braids will come from behind your ear and sort of come down, and then maybe have like an elastic. So something like that. And you could even do more of like a curly shape or whatever you want. And then I'm just going to repeat the same pattern. So it's a diagonal line, and then another one that comes in the middle of the braid. And then I'm going to go back up here and round up those sides. And then you can sort of darken your lines if you want to. And add a little bit of texture. Okay, so that's how I would do one whole braid, and then several. So next I'm going to show you how to do more curly hair. So it's the same process. It's always the same thing. It's always a hairline first. I promise. It looks silly, but it's really helpful. So again, you kind of want to think about where your hair is parted. So it might be in the middle or to the side. I'm going to pick the middle for this one. And I am going to round out my hairline right now, so that way I can see what I'm doing. So now I know for textured hair I did more of a smaller, quicker circle. For curly hair, it's going to be more intentional, more circular, and closer together. So I'm gonna start by doing the outside. So I'm just gonna mark where I'm gonna want my hair to be. Okay, so that's like the outer edge of my hair. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start in with those circles. Again, you have to think about what direction your hair goes in. Your hair always goes from the root and then down. And so that's what should be happening. And so I can do the next layer. And these are going to look very side by side unless you sort of blend them in a little bit. And then I might even add some little curlies going out. And then sort of at the bottom as well. and then even maybe towards the front of the hair. So that's kind of how I would do the curly hair. Now, it's the same exact way if you were doing a ponytail. You're gonna wanna map out where your ponytail is going. So in this case, it's just gonna be, I guess, a pigtail. If I'm going back and I'm thinking about it, if you're pulling your hair back in a ponytail, the front of it is going to be being all pulled towards that hair elastic. So the front of your hair is gonna be like this, and then the back of the hair is going to have that curly texture. So something kind of similar to that. So now you have curly and curly with ponytail. All right, so I went ahead and added some hair. I think I added like a little curly side ponytail. And then I went ahead and shaded the forehead. And so this is the final look. Go ahead, practice, look at your hair, look at it in the mirror, print out a picture, find a picture of somebody else, practice, 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 and then eventually you're going to improve. The very last thing I want to give you a tip on is save every single picture you draw. So you're going to be able to see your progression. So let's say the first one you make is not that good, and then you get better, you get better, you get better, and then you find this one that you're very satisfied with. So then you can see really how far you've grown as an artist. Thank you so much for watching. Go back if you need to, pause, rewind, mute if you have to. And have fun. Don't stress out. All right, thanks for watching.